And finally, for the superintendent report, I would like to next recognize one of the most important partnerships that exists in the school district. The Pennbridge Community Education Foundation, or PCEF, was founded in 2008, so celebrating its 10th anniversary, and provides resources and supports that directly benefit our students and staffs. They are a dedicated group of hardworking volunteers, and I wanted to thank them for their service to the Pennbridge community and give you an opportunity to learn a little more about them. Joe Ferry, our district public relations coordinator, as well as a PCEF board member, is here to tell us more about this wonderful organization. Thank you, Mr. Ferry.
No, thank you, because I really appreciate you and the board giving me this opportunity to shine a light on an organization that is really near and dear to my heart. Not long after I joined the district, Dr. Kish asked me to look into what it would take to start an education foundation. That we are here nearly a decade later, making a real difference in the lives of teachers and students is a testament to hard work, as Dr. Bolton said, a real passion for public education, and more than a little bit of stubbornness, because there have been a few times along the way that we considered folding up shop. But in the end, we always felt that what we're doing is too important to give up. I'm pleased to announce that just recently we passed $50,000 raised, and that tonight I'll present a check for $1,000 to the district. It represents our 5th payment of a $10,000 commitment to the stadium sponsorship. So that tells you a lot of where we've been. What I'd like to do is use our website, our brand new website, to explain what we've done and what we intend to do over the next few years. Dr. Bolt, you did a good job explaining
who we are or what we are, but I want to tell you a little bit about our board of directors.
As you can see, we meet once a month at 8:30, the first Saturday of each month. And we've been meeting at the Penn Community Bank on Market Street in Percy. However, after this last meeting we had, and the Down to Earth Cafe is open right across the street, I have a feeling we might be meeting there from now on. I want to introduce a couple of our board members who are in attendance tonight. Mr. Ron Smith is our president. He's a former Pennbridge teacher. Becky Schlatter is vice president of our organization. She has a parent who has been with us since the beginning. Thank you, Becky. Also, Kathy Donovan is our treasurer, former school board member, and another person who's been with us since the beginning. Just mention a couple other names who are on our list. Patty Yost, you might recognize her name from her theatrical productions at Penn Central. Sandy Kramer, a parent who just joined us. Christine Yardley, former board member and another one who's been with us since the beginning. Former Penn Central principal Tom Rutter. Glenn Wonder, who is a teacher at Central and a recent recipient of our Friend of Education Award. So what I want to do is...
Can you all stand one more time?
What I'd like to do is go back to our homepage on the website. So board, if you want to go back to the homepage, I'm going to go through each of the individual activities that we do. Okay, the most important thing we do, and we have some of our recipients here tonight, is our classroom innovation grants. This is where we see the fruits of our labors. Each year, teachers can apply for up to $1,000 toward innovative classroom programs that will enhance learning for their students. As you can see, there's a list here. We have funded a wide variety of initiatives at every level. My personal favorite is a microloan project we funded at Penn Central very early on in our existence. We provided them with $1,000 to use as microloan seed money for student fundraising projects. I don't have the exact numbers, but we think that original $1,000 has been turned into $7,000 or $8,000 worth of charitable donations, and they still have the original $1,000 to lend out each year. So I think that's one of the coolest things we've ever done. All told, we've awarded 41 grants totaling a bit over $28,000. And we have some of our grant recipients here tonight. We're going to bring them down for a picture in a couple minutes.
Okay.
The way we raise that money for the grants is through our lovely evening. There are two components to a lovely evening. We present our Friend of Education Award, and you should look for our call for nominations early in January, and a showcase of our musical and theatrical talents of our students on the stage at the historical Sellersville Theater. Typically, we'll have a performance from the chamber ensemble, the concert choir, the a cappella group, selections from the spring musical, and the jazz band. Our 9th annual event is scheduled for Tuesday, April 30th. Tickets are only $20. You get all that entertainment, plus a complimentary dessert reception before the actual event starts. So look for some publicity about that coming out after the first of the year. Another thing we do is a partnership with the Perk Restaurant to provide a Future Leader Scholarship. Twice a year, the Perk donates 10% of everything sold on our night. We have been providing $500 scholarships each year in partnership with the Perk, but we hope to increase that to $1,000 for one person, or perhaps two $500 scholarships as people become more aware of our nights. Our next one, put it on your calendar, April 1st, 2019, from 5 to 9 p.m. Our graduation raffle is something we just started last year, and it was successful beyond our expectations. For $5, you're entered in a raffle for premium seating and reserved parking, and a $75 food voucher at Stabler Arena. I know last year's winners were very happy to have those accommodations. Another thing we're doing are the SAT prep classes. We can thank Christine Yardley for this one. She arranged a partnership with Catalyst, a company that offers SAT and ACT boot camps. We take care of all the arrangements and the marketing in return for a donation based on the number of registrations. And again, that has been very successful for us over the last couple of years. Finally, we have our Educator Appreciation Program, which allows parents to make a donation to PCEF in the name of their child's teacher a couple times during the year. We just sent our holiday appeal today. One thing not included on our website is the Education Improvement Tax Credit, and it has the potential to be a game changer for what we do. EITC is an opportunity for businesses to redirect all or some of their state tax obligations to the foundation to support specific state-approved programs. For example, in its simplest form, a business could make a $10,000 donation to the foundation, receive a $9,000 credit on its state taxes. We are in the process for the EITC program of identifying 3 initiatives that would benefit our students and at the same time qualify for EITC support. We'll let you know how that progresses. And while it's not EITC, on Wednesday, in conjunction with the grand reopening of the Percy McDonald's, the franchise donor is going to donate $1,000 to the foundation. And I think that's the beginning of a potentially mutually beneficial relationship with that particular business. So that's PCEF in a nutshell. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and of course on our new website for updates. I would be remiss if I did not issue our appeal for volunteers. We can definitely use your time and talents in a variety of ways. We're always looking for fresh ideas about how we can be more effective on behalf of our students. If you have any questions, myself or any member of the board will be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Mr. Ferry, Mr. Smith, Ms. Donovan, Ms. Schlatter. I'd like to mention Mrs. Cullen, who is the board representative to the PCEF, as well as those members who are not here tonight. I just really want to thank you for your hard work and dedication. It's a really wonderful thing that you do that impacts a lot of classrooms. The sampling tonight of the grant winners who are here is just one sampling of those 41 classrooms and the hundreds and thousands of kids that you impacted. based off of the work that you've done. So on behalf of the district and behalf of the classrooms that have awarded those grants, I just really want to thank you for the work that you do. And I would ask if the grant winners and the board members would come down and let's get a picture with a big check. Thank you all very much.
Thank you all for all of your effort and for giving up your Saturday mornings, which hopefully will become a little bit better if you move to the cafe. And for those of you who have not been to a lovely evening, it really is incredible. The talent that you see there from our students, it's just amazing to see what our students can do. So if you haven't been there, you really need to get there.
I also learned that if you show up in the 8:30 meetings between the months of April and October, it's right by the farmer's market. So it was perfect, you know, so you could have breakfast, go over for lunch, it worked beautifully. The last thing I have this morning is to recognize a donation. There was a $500 donation made to Bedminster Elementary for technology that they're in the process of deciding what that is. It was donated to them by Mr. Gary Schiff, who has been part of the Bedminster family for 10 years. He's a retired teacher who joins them each week for 2 afternoons. He has unique skills in teaching math to young children. He has experience with the Everyday Math 4 program, and he works one-on-one with first, second, and third graders on skills denoted by their teachers. He has not only an expertise in math, but also amazing characteristic in that he's gentle, kind, and funny. The students love working with Mr. Schiff and love being there and have an opportunity to do math with him one-on-one. So thank you to Mr. Schiff for his donation to Bedminster Elementary. And that's all I have for the report.
Okay, since we do not have our student liaison, we're going to move on to the consent calendar. I will make a motion to approve the consent calendar, items A through I. Seconded by Mrs. Cullen. Questions or comments from board members? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 8-0. Next up is the committee reports. First is activities. Mrs. Cullen?
Thank you. The Activities Committee met on November 5th. The highlights of the Activities Committee, well, the highlight probably was the graduation survey results, and the result was that we'll be staying at Stavo Arena. And then we did also talk about the calendar, which is on the top. And both of those things are on board docs if you want to access to see the minutes or the notes of the November 5 meeting. And then the next activities meeting is scheduled for Monday, January 7th.
Thank you. Next up is curriculum. Mrs. Cullen?
Okay, thank you. There are a couple of motions. The first one is a motion to approve a few curriculum proposals. The elementary reading that we talked about earlier, a technology certification, the AP capstone, and then level 1 and 2 ESL student science course. Looking for a second.
A second?
Second.
Seconded by Dr. Yarnell. Questions or comments from board members? All those in favor?
Wait, I'm sorry, I was waiting for other people. I did want to just mention about the AP capstone, for anyone who wasn't at the curriculum meeting, it's really exciting. I'm really excited about that and glad that it's coming to Penridge. It's going to give our students a leg up when they go to college. So if we get approved, right? I guess it's pending approval, but I like to think positively, and so that's going to be something that's really great. And the certification for the computer applications is another thing that will serve our students well, because it makes them a little bit more employable. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 8-0.
Okay, then we have a motion to approve the Penridge School District level comprehensive plan dated July 1st, 2019 to June 30th, 2022.
Okay, I'll second. Questions or comments from board members? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 8-0.
Okay, and the next curriculum meeting is scheduled for December 10th. Thank you.
Okay, next up is facilities. Since Mrs. Dolan is not here, I will just go through those. I'm going to make a motion to approve, or a motion to obsolete items A through H. Seconded by Mr. Kraus. Questions or comments from board members? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 8-0. The next Facilities Committee meeting is scheduled for January 8th, 2019. And just to note, just a reminder, the December meeting that was originally scheduled is canceled, so there is no Finance or Facilities meeting in December. Next up is the Finance Committee. I'm going to make a motion to approve the contracts A through M. Do I have a second? Seconded by Mrs. Walters. Questions or comments from board members? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 8-0. The next Finance Committee meeting is scheduled for January 8th. Next up is the IU. Sure.
I just want to make one comment around the Finance Committee. For those of you who were not able to attend the November 13th committee meeting, I would suggest that you take a look online at the recording. Mally, who is our auditor, came in and did a presentation on the audit for the past school year, and I have to say that it was just wonderful information. So this is the 14th year that Mally has audited the district, and every year they do a sampling of funds and look at our protocols and the way that we handle the cash, our student organizations, as well as all of the district accounts. And there has never been a single audit finding during those 14 years, and that's something that really Penridge should be proud of from that standpoint. So as they reported the general fund is sitting at about $9.4 million, which is under the 8% of the budget or expenditures, which is the guidelines that the state put in place. But it also puts us in a healthy situation if there were to be emergencies or priorities that the board would like to set moving forward. As well as last year, we were appropriately under budget to the tune of about $3.9 million, and that allowed us to transfer that to capital projects and has allowed the board to continue to fully fund the district's 6-year capital projects plan, which is very unusual for a school district, to have that plan of that length, but also for it to be fully funded for the 6 years. So that, again, is something to be proud of. So I do want to thank the department that works most directly with that. I mean, obviously the principals and the department heads maintain and set budgets and maintain their spending, and so they do deserve some thanks. But it is the people in the district business office who appreciate and work with this every day. So those people are Faith Gonay, who is our bookkeeper, Karen Gossard, who is our payroll clerk, Judy Dominic, who does accounts payable, Jane Ducey, who is our tax clerk, Jackie Schuler, who is our administrative assistant, and both Amelia Gorbalski and Amy Light, who are directors of finance, as well as Mr. Sean Daubert, who is our business administrator. So Sean, on behalf of all the people who you work with and on behalf of the district, I want to thank you for your work and for a wonderful audit report. So nice job.
And the next committee report is the IU. The IU met on Tuesday, November 20th, and the next meeting is scheduled for January 15th. I just had a few things I wanted to highlight. It was an interesting meeting because once a year we get to travel to one of the schools that one of the IU schools and see see where our kids are learning and the success that's going on in our buildings. And so we traveled to Samuel Everett, which is a school for kids with intensive emotional support needs. And so we got to take a little field trip from Doylestown on a bus, so it was really a neat experience. They recently, in the last year or two, moved to a co-teaching model, and they shared the great deal of success that they've had since they've switched to a co-teaching model, and talked about how they had built professional development into their day and how much of an impact that has had on them. Another highlight is the Leadership Development Fellowship Program, and superintendents from each school district nominate 2 representatives to participate in this program, and it's a great leadership program to help develop people who are looking to move up in administrative positions and take on leadership roles. And part of that entails having superintendents from throughout Bucks County come and give presentations and be the guest speaker on a monthly basis. It helps them with interview techniques and improving their resumes. So it's a great support and helps to develop our employees here in our districts. I think they're getting ready to start their 3rd cohort on this. Another interesting, we got a presentation about specialized transportation, which is much more extensive than I realized. And in order to get child passenger safety technician certification, you have to undergo 4 full days of training. And I was surprised by how complicated it actually was and how many different restraint systems they have and the detail that they have to learn to get that certification. And it deals with the physiology of students and how different students are impacted differently, the ages of the students, the size of the students. And so it was really interesting, and we got some demonstrations on that, which was also a great learning experience. We had the craft fair on October 27th, which benefited their education foundation. Almost $500,000 in grants have been distributed to date. Several tables of exceptional items that were hand-created and crafted by IU students with special needs were also part of that craft fair. And some examples of some of the things that the students were doing was creating paper from pulp, jars with everything you need to create a hearty soup or a batch of cookies. They created decorations, holiday decorations, candles, framed nature photography, folk art, wooden wall plaques. They also strive to incorporate students' families into reinforcing the skills that their students are learning. Michael Petroi, and I hope I'm not butchering his name, actually has his own business now with his parents. He loves his dog and helping in the kitchen. His parents incorporated these skills and passions into a little business called Michael's Bakery, which makes gourmet pet treats and supports keeping him involved and keeping his skills sharp. He works with his mom to bake all the treats, to package them, and attend events where they can sell them. They even enlisted fellow student Travis Goodman as his cashier. Penridge was also one of 3 districts sharing our journey to bring STEAM to all students at the first annual STEAM Illuminated Conference, highlighting middle school STEM courses. There was a keynote presentation from Ben Smith on the four strands of STEAM: build, code, create, and design, as well as different activities to participate in. So lots of great things happening there. And again, the next meeting is scheduled for January 15th. The next committee report is personnel. Mrs. Walters.
Okay, I have 2 items up for approval tonight. The first one